Welcome to today's video on Diablo 4, The Loot Problem. Diablo 4 was released on the 5th of June 2023 with the sole goal of being alive as a service game. That means you spend all of the time in the world playing this game, and hopefully you may pick up a cosmetic or pay for the premium battle pass. In Diablo 4, the main goal is for you to fight and kill demons and monsters from hell to get more gear to then continue to fight more demons and monsters from hell. There are currently 5 playable classes in Diablo 4, these being Druid, Barbarian, Sorcerer, Necro, and Rogue, each with their unique abilities and style. Once you've selected your class and created your character, you'll be able to begin walking around Sanctuary, but first off you'll realise you're completely naked. But never fear, you'll be able to acquire gear by killing monsters and demons from hell, which will hopefully be better than wearing nothing. As you progress through the game, you'll find out very quickly that you need to opt for a build if you want to do some serious damage. Now, to opt for a build, all you'll need to do is fire up Google and search for a build which has been created by someone who knows much more about the game and has planned out the best choices for your class. This means you'll have to abort being a druid with all these fun companion skills and change to be a massive permanent werewolf that jumps from enemies and destroys everything in his path. But let's go back a step. Before creating this monster killing machine, you'll have to build this perfectly crafted build. So when a piece of gear drops, you'll have to compare it between attributes in your carefully selected build. What this means is you will no longer be looking for random bits of gear and will be looking for gear that has certain attributes that you require. So this is a very time-consuming process, but it is very rewarding. What you'll need to do is each piece of gear, you'll have to sift through and have a look to see if the attributes match that with your build. In some cases, you may find some that are completely irrelevant, which can be dismantled or sold. However, you may find a piece of gear that has 2 out of 4 attributes that you're looking for. They may not be the highest level of those attributes, but at least they are related to your build. If you would like, you're able to re-roll one of these attributes, so you can pick one of the crappy attributes and go to the Town Wizard. The Town Wizard is available in every major town in Diablo 4, and if you ask nicely to re-roll one of your terrible attributes into a better one related to your build, he will most likely laugh in your face. But don't worry, if you do ask the Town Wizard to re-roll an attribute, he will take a large sum of money and he will just do with it whatever he likes. But you're able to pay again, in some cases which may be 5 times the amount of gold originally spent, to try and re-roll that attribute again. Majority of the time, this turns into a very long process where you begin to question your need to re-roll the gear in the first place and just give up. But on the rare occasion that you do get the right roll in your gear, you now have a new item to put in your perfectly crafted build. But when you don't, you need to repeat this process and acquire more loot and gold to try and re-roll the crappy gear you've got. You have many skills to choose from in Diablo 4, but since you're following a build, you will very rarely experiment, because if you start to experiment with your crafted build, you'll find that you know nothing and you should just continue to use your normal skills as part of the build. Diablo 4 has a great first season underway, Season of the Malignant, which allows you to create a new character to spend more time on this character unlocking cool things from the premium battle pass if you choose to pay for this. And also unlocking some things from a free battle pass, which are quite questionable. Included in this first season is this new system of Malignant Hearts. These are gem-like items that can be socketed into amulets or rings only. There are 4 different types of hearts and 32 different hearts themselves. The 4 different types are the Vicious Heart, which provides offensive power, Brutal Heart for defensive power, Devious Heart for utility power, and Wrathful Heart for superpower. Or as I like to call them, ready, purpley pink, and holy shit a decent one dropped. To acquire one of these Malignant Hearts, you'll need to find a malignant enemy. Upon killing them, they will drop a heart which you can then touch, and this will turn them into a more powerful version, and once killing them, you'll acquire your caged heart. These enemies can be found throughout Sanctuary at random, or you can enter a Malignant Tunnel to farm for these. A Malignant Tunnel is also not a name for a medical procedure. Now this all sounds cool on paper, but in order to use a heart, you need to find the right colour socket in your collection of rings and amulets. Wrathful Hearts can go in any, but for others you'll need to play colour matching to get these to work properly. This makes it quite difficult to upgrade as well, because if you have a heart in your current piece of gear and a new piece of gear drops that has a different colour, you're stuck trying to work out how to make that work with your build. But to make matters worse, you're also unable to remove hearts from jewellery. What this means is if you get an amazing heart that drops, but you don't have an amazing piece of jewellery to put this into, you're going to be stuck hoarding this heart for a while. Or if you have a heart that's very, very decent, but then you have a piece of jewellery that's disgusting, but it's kind of working at the moment, you're unable to make that decision because then you've lost that heart forever and you're unable to remove it in any capacity. This creates a scenario where you're trying to hoard these hearts and you want to have more than one of the same type so that if you do get a better piece of gear, you're able to add that to the gear. Once you've reached the endgame of Diablo 4, the main task left for you to do is loot for more gear. This is through Nightmare Dungeons. A Nightmare Dungeon is like a normal dungeon except it's been upgraded so there are stronger enemies and you have a better chance at greater loot. Also, upon completing a Nightmare Dungeon, you'll be allowed to level up your glyph, which can be added to your Paragon board. As you continue to craft and build upon your build, you'll be able to do higher and higher tier Nightmare Dungeons, which should in turn provide you with the potential for higher and higher loot. But it feels like there's a fundamental issue here. Why do we have these chore aspects in a game where the goal should be just having fun and getting better gear as you go, and not a job to check through items for hours and hours, and being stuck unable to change your gear since the cost and investment is too high? It feels like this has been purposely designed to draw out content since that's the main loop of the game. But the loop doesn't have to be like this, it can be something better and more fun, with the game mechanics that currently exist. Why not have more around leaderboards or speedruns repeating the campaign at higher difficulties? Let people play the classes they want to play and how they want to play, and everyone can destroy demons together. Make this the game that it can be, and maybe then... Oh, an ancestral unique. That's probably terrible. Oh, actually, this is actually decent. Yeah, forget what I said, this game is awesome.